All right, welcome back to Football Theory. We're gonna move on, keep it with Mexico, but now we're going to Japan as the Olympics kick off. Guti, we by the time the recording of this comes out, Mexico will play France. Uh, how excited are you for the Olympics to start for this U23 roster, U23 team, this tournament?
I've always been excited for age restricted tournaments. Like I've always liked the U17, the U20s. I just like them. I like to see there's like a different vibe to it, right? Younger guys trying to prove themselves. I know there's some guys that are older, but on the most part, for the most part, you get to see teams that just guys that are just trying to prove themselves. So I really like the energy you get from these players. I'm excited to see what Mexico brings against France. I know France, obviously, France is France, right? They have their world renowned, they're world champions. They have great youth system, so we'll see how they do. But I do think Mexico has taken this serious and have prepared for this. So I do expect Mexico to get the result against France.
Yeah, looking at the bigger picture, a tough group. I think you got the host nation Japan, who's bringing in, who has a good squad as well. You mentioned France, to Guignac leading the line, a very good youth system where they're able to funnel players to get a lot of little one experience at a young age. So great opening match for them. You got South Africa going through some COVID things, so that might be the one game where you can definitely get the 3 points. But it's a great group for a competitive nature of it. Games go back, back, back. You get one game, you get 2 days rest, one game, 2 days rest. So the games come fast. And so there's not a lot of recovery time in terms of physically or mentally. I'm with you. I like this squad. I think this is a good team. I think it's a better team than 4 years ago. But always in these youth tournaments, on paper it can look one thing. You never know until it actually happens, especially because the process for all these teams are so not random, but they're very difficult compared to the senior teams getting upset up for a tournament.
Yeah, because the FIFA doesn't, they don't support it. So you got, you got last time with Mexico, you're like, oh, they're gonna just copy it, send some players here and there, but it's the decision making by the club owners to say, you know what, you can't take all my players. You can only take this one or this and that. And I don't think this time around, I don't think there was any of that. You know, I actually think Jimmy Lozano had to make some really tough cuts of some really talented young guys that are like, are you kidding me? Like, you don't want this guy? So I think it's going to be a very competitive team. They only can take 18 guys, right? Obviously.
Well, I think 22 for this one because they expanded it for the
They
COVID.
expanded it? Okay, I remember last time it was 18, right? Or something
Yes,
like that. It
it
was really
usually
small.
is
Okay.
18.
All right. Well, 22 guys, it's not as they can't take the 3 keepers, right? They only took 2 keepers, right? I think you take two
Oh, three.
keepers.
They got three on there. Yeah.
Oh, so you
So
can do that now. So they totally changed it from last time. But
yeah.
you see that Jimmy Lozano had to make decisions like, he wasn't going to take Macias. So Macias faked an injury to come home, not get cut, and then also last week, 2 days ago, go play in Getafe. So you got guys like that. You got guys that I think should have been there that aren't. I think Santiago Jimenez is a solid forward that would have done just as fine, and I don't think you had to take Henry Martin, but that's just me. But I guess they felt then this, I don't know. There's some backdoor deals going on here of sending certain players from certain teams, and I don't want to mention them because I might work for them one day. So yeah, that's what's going on. We know
Yeah.
we know how Mexican soccer works a little bit. So
what I like about this roster is that you kind of look at the roster and you can say, oh, this could be the starting lineup or this can be the starting lineup. They're really, there's so many options, I think, which is really good. And now also there's going to be good options off the bench. You look at the attack, Martin's probably going to start, but then you go as the Vega, and then on the other side you go Antuna. I mean, you have to start Diego Lainez, I think. So you have all these options of how you want to attack. So I think which is really good. Same thing in the midfield. What trio of midfielders do you want to go to? Are you going with Alvarado? Are you going with Cordoba? Are you going with Rome? You think Romo's going to start because he's the overage guy? What's the combinations that you're going to try to figure out, and what's going to work, what's not going to work, and can you adjust in such short time?
I think all the overage guys are going to start, right? They're there for a reason. Their clubs are probably like, hey, you're taking them to play, right? So they're going to be there. Romo's definitely going to be playing right away, and there's already rumor of him going to Getafe and other places. When the rumors start, right, he could be leaving soon, and he should be leaving soon. Martin's going to have to start. Henry Martin's going to have to start. Obviously, that's what they brought him for. and then obviously obviously Ochoa is going to be in goal, right? So you got the main guy. But I'm really excited. I love Johan Vasquez, center back. I think he's solid. I like him better than Cesar Montes, but Cesar Montes is also doing really well. And like some of these guys, you could plug them into this Copa Oro team, and we would have had maybe the same result, maybe a little better, but not worse, you know. So I'm excited to see that there's another group going, that we have another group that's actually playing, they're active, and that makes the pool even bigger. So you got the 20 guys in Copa Oro, the 20-something guys in Japan, and a couple guys that are injured not playing. I mean, that's a decent pool, like 45 players that Tata has to call.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I mean, when I was speaking like midfield combinations, I didn't even mention Carlos Rodriguez, who, you know,
Charlie, yeah.
player when he's on hasn't had the best summer and didn't have the best season, but when he's on, he's playing great. So what's the, for Jimmy, he doesn't have a lot of time to get it right, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Can you get the combination right depending on what the team needs? Can you have the, how much do you need to rotate or make adjustments to game to make sure everybody's fresh? Because again, these games come in hot. It's almost 6 games in 2 weeks. Not a lot of, maybe a little more time, but not a lot. You know what I mean? 2 weeks and a half is pretty
and the
much
first 2 games are the toughest one. You got France, which is like no joke. They're taking the series. They're bringing Guignac, they're bringing Tavin, so they're bringing some World Cup veterans from their squad. And so the good thing Liga MX is they know who he is, right? They know who Guignac is. They're not going to be shocked at what he does, but he can do what he wants to do. Hopefully they could contain him and the way he plays up there as a veteran. And then the Japan team, I mean, the good thing is there's no fans, right? Because that Japan game will probably be packed, yes. Right? So It's like Mexico got kind of the worst draw as far as who you're playing first. But I think, like I said before, we can't shy away from the big competition. We play the best. We got to beat them. And that's how you get through that group. Imagine you get through this group playing those 2 tough teams. I mean, then you have a clear-cut way to go to the final, man. So we can't be scared to play like some of these European teams right away.
I think if Mexico gets out of the group, semifinals are a minimum. Especially when I look at the draw, because they match up against Group B, New Zealand, South Korea, Honduras, Romania. So funny. Mexico could have easily been in Group B because
and you don't want to be in that group because I feel like Mexico lets their guard down. They let their guard down.
So if they get out of this group, and I don't think it'll be easy, but I think they can, and I think they have good a chance as France and Japón to get out of this group. I think it's gonna be competitive, but it sets them up perfectly for a nice run to at least the semifinals, I think. And that's what I expect from this team, and from what, that's what I hope, and that's what I expect when I look at the talent on this team.
Yeah, and last time in 2012, I can't even think of 2012. I can't even think of the European team that they had to play. Like I don't even remember. I just know they had to beat Japan. They beat but I see obviously they beat Gambia.
Korea in the semifinals. They beat Senegal in the quarterfinals. So they
wasn't it Japan? I think they played Japan, but I don't know who it was, but I think it was Japan. But they definitely did not. I don't know the European team that they had to play. So this is definitely tougher because you got France, but there's another group that has like Germany and Spain and stuff. So we'll see.
Germany, Brazil, Ivory Coast. Yeah,
that's a tough group. So I'm excited. I think I'm not excited about the time because it's going to be 1:00 in the morning our time. So I'm planning to go to bed by 10. Try to wake up maybe 1, maybe watch like the first half, see how it's going. If it's not a good game, I'll go back to bed.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So we'll see what happens. I think it's exciting, at least, especially more soccer. I think we both have we expect a lot from this team, high expectations. And quickly before we end this segment, what are our jerseys going to look like? How confident are you on the jerseys? Because this has turned into like the great mystery of what we're going to be dressed at, what we're going to be dressing, what we're going to be wearing.
First of all, is that Ling Ming? Is that where's that brand from?
China, I believe China.
Okay, so that totally goes off everything that I thought, because at least I understood last time, Atletico was a sponsor because they wanted to in 2012, right? I know in 16 they were either, but I'm like, okay, you're going to support your local brand, right? So I'm like, I'm all for that, because it's like, we know Adidas does not sign the deal for the Olympic team, right? We know that that's not how it works. So you go and get a Chinese brand to outfit the Olympic team. It kind of goes against what we're doing, right? It doesn't make any sense to do that either. So in that case, like, why can't Adidas, who has a great relationship with the Mexican Federation, why can't they outfit the entire Olympic squad? Like, why can't they outfit everyone? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like someone's missing the link there. The uniforms are very basic, very whatever. literally just a Mexico flag on them. And it's like, I mean, I know it's not about the uniform, but it's like, bro, this is the entire, we're talking about the entire Olympic squad. Like, what's going on? And then we saw yesterday that the softball team gets to wear Nike. So now we're totally confused about why they're wearing that and not wearing what they could be wearing, or why the entire Olympic team is not wearing one brand.
Yeah, right. Because these Olympic what teams, or Olympic
Yeah,
Federation
the delegation.
delegations, they have no relation to the soccer federations, right?
Correct.
So that's why you see the USA jerseys just have USA instead of the emblem that we're used to. That's why the Brazilians, and that's why the Mexico one just has that Mexico logo on it. But yeah, this jersey thing is just so really weird, right? Because you're right, Athletic sponsored all of them in 2012, and now this, probably this company offered them more money so that to outfit them, so they have, I know, like um in swimming for the United States, they'll wear like Speedo or something different instead of Nike, even though Nike usually dresses most all their athletes. But just it's very interesting. I don't know why Adidas can't just outfit the national team, because they did in 2016. I know you have to make some weird dramatic changes to them, like you have to take away the stripes,
Right.
which, and maybe
but like, like you're telling me that
maybe the jersey is just too lit. That pink jersey is just too lit for.
No, and I don't agree that we should wear the pink one. I don't think we should wear the pink one for the Olympics. Like, that's cool with our national team. That's kind of like whatever, we're doing our thing, and Italy wears blue, whatever. But if we're gonna go to the Olympics, like let's wear the colors.
Because how you have to like dress it down a lot and like take away the stripes and everything, and you got to take away the stripes on jerseys. Maybe that pink jersey is just too lit for, and they couldn't simplify enough for the Olympics. That's gonna be that's what I think.
That's your theory. My theory is there's some backdoor deal we don't know about that we know probably happens, and I'm very concerned of like why Federación Mexicana cannot get on the phone and like somehow get him, because like at the same time too, like we're taking the pro team for soccer, right? There's a lot of pro players, so I know that's obviously the eyes are on that, and I really do like that the Mexican like newspaper and the magazines are not posting the soccer team. They're posting the weightlifters. They're posting the boxers. That's cool. That's what we're supposed to do for the Olympics, is individual sports too. But I feel like there should be some kind of like, some kind of unity of like, okay, dude, we got all this money. Let's support the Taekwondo team. Let's support, it's like high school sports, right? The football team pays the bills for everybody else. So like, can we find a way to just give them a little bit of money so we're not going there looking like, some junior college team?
They dressed up our boys in the boxes in the back in the storage unit. Like they didn't, in these white with blue shirts that.
Dude, that's what I don't get, because they're warming the training kits were like navy blue shorts. I'm like, all right, dude, look, I don't know what you're doing. Like my brother actually had the 2012 jersey. Those were clean. They had a little design on the side. It was kind of like holographic.
I didn't love them, but they were clean enough. Yeah.
No, they were clean. He has the red one. It's pretty nice. Like for being an Olympic jersey, it's like, okay, it's cool. It's not better than the soccer one, but I do think there's got to be some kind of like, because you've seen it before. Ana Guevara, the Mexican track star, she's talked about it a lot. Like how, and the other athletes have talked about it too. How like there's no money for the Olympic Committee. Like the Olympic Committee does not support these athletes, and I think that's bad for the country, for the sports. So we've got to support the Taekwondo. We got to support the weightlifting. We got to support the wrestlers.
Diving, baby.
Huh?
Diving. We got to support diving. Mexico.
They're really good. Yeah, we're always good at diving, swimming, whatever it may be. We got to support that, but not just saying it and not just like, oh yeah, we support you. No, man, we need to have like these connections that are there, that we know they're there in soccer, right? That Nike's there, Puma's there. They're all these big brands are supporting Mexican soccer. We got to make this phone call, man. We got Gatorade, Pepsi, Nike, all these big companies, man. Let's make it happen, please.
Yeah.
They're not getting paid to be there. Just give them the uniforms. That's it.
I know. Instead of being kind of like, I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true or not, that the women from the softball team had to pay for their own jerseys, because that's why they got the Nike ones. If that's true, that's wild. You know what I mean?
So that means you got a brand that doesn't even make softball stuff. So they didn't even like the softball thing, so they went and bought them. And that's a whole other topic, right? The whole softball baseball thing is kind of funny. They brought it back because of the popularity in Japan. But if you saw the softball field, it was a joke. It was a joke. They're playing on this baseball field. They brought the fences in, these like wheeled in fences, and then they're playing on a turf field, which softball fields are dirt infield. They're not grass. So like they're throwing the softball thing together for the people, and guess what? The people aren't allowed in the stadium, so it didn't work.
Yeah. Well, that's our Olympic coverage.
Thank you, checking back for the Olympic coverage. Thank you.
Check back next week. I got an Olympic question, but we'll say it for 50-50.
Let's go. All right.
For you. But yeah, before we get to 50-50, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to jump into Liga MX, touch that real quickly as it kicks off. Our league is back, baby.
Hashtag this is ours.
Yeah.